Of applause. Our great Nassau County Chair, Jay Jacobs, a great friend for a lot of years and a great Democratic leader. It's an honor to be with Laura Burns and Linda Beagle-Schulman and Fred Guttenberg. Let's give them a round of applause. To all the people from Everytown Gun Safety, God bless you in the fight that you fight. We're with you. Let's give them a round of applause. And Moms Demand Action. Keep going. Keep going. We're going to get there. You know, we are coming down to it, and the closer we get to this election season, the clearer it becomes. And you can feel it. First, on Steve's point about the president is unhappy with me. Yes, he is very unhappy with me. But I am more unhappy with him. Let him tweet at me. Know me by my enemies. He's a big man on the other side of a Twitter account. That's not how it worked in Queens back in the day. You couldn't be a big man on the other side of a Twitter account. So let's see how he is in person. I'm looking forward to it. This election is unlike any election I've been in. This is not about politics. This is not about Democrats and Republicans. This is not about donkeys and elephants. I wish it were that simple. This is a choice of basic character issues and values and priorities. This is about who we are. The president has a philosophy. His followers have a philosophy that is a narrow, insular, bigoted view of this country. That's who they are, and they show you the same thing over and over and over again. When Steve said, every day there's something crazy. Yeah, there's something different crazy, but it's the same pattern always. It's been the same pattern from day one. This is a president who started the campaign saying, I want to build a wall. That's how he started. Now, the wall he wanted on the southern border, it was not about border security. If he wanted border security, he would have been talking about sensors and cameras and technology. He said, I want a wall. Why? He wanted the symbolism of the wall. He wanted that physical wall. The wall says, I want a structure to keep them out. I want to divide. I want to separate. That's why he wanted the wall, like the Great Wall of China, he used to say. A metaphor that said, we have to keep them out of our country. It's them, it's us, it's black, it's white, it's rich, it's poor, it's north, it's south, it's urban, it's rural. It's a country of division. No, we're a country of unity. We're not building walls, we're building bridges. We're coming together. New York is the progressive capital of the nation. We made it the progressive capital of the nation, and we're proud of it. And the juxtaposition between who we are and what we believe and who they are and what they're doing is night and day. Yes, we're the first state to stand up, first big state to stand up and pass marriage equality. And yes, they want to roll back LGBTQ rights. Yes. We're proud to stand and say we stand shoulder to shoulder with our brothers and sisters in the labor movement. And they are anti-union, and they want to end the union movement. Yes, we believe health care is a human right, and they want to say it's a luxury. Yes, We're with the working families and the hardworking men and women, and we want to see them raise themselves up. And that's why we passed the first $15 minimum wage in the United States, and they're against it. Yes, we want to clean the environment and we want to move towards renewable and away from fossil fuels, and they're talking about going back to coal and offshore drilling. Yes, that's night and day difference. Yes, they have a different view of this country when it comes to acceptance of people. They are judgmental. Where you come from, the color of your skin, and your accent, and they are judgmental as to who should be allowed in and who should be kept out. They see diversity as a weakness. We see diversity as a source of strength. We are New York. We're 19 million people from everywhere. And we say it makes us better and more beautiful and stronger, that we can bring people from all across the world and we can make one and share each other's culture. That's who we are. So when they say, we want to keep them out, we say, no, we want to let them in like this country let us in. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. And when they say we're going to take babies from the arms of their mother to keep people from coming in, we say that's not who we are as a country. It's inhumane, it's illegal, and we are against it. When they take their bigotry to the point where they abandon the people in Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria. Why? Because they're Puerto Ricans. Their skin is a little different color. Their language is a little different. They are American citizens. And a night and day difference is where we are on the issue of guns. And this is literally a matter of life and death, almost on a weekly basis. This is a national crisis. We have a chronic plague of mass murders. And it's getting worse. It's getting worse. I remember the first time and the second time, it was unimaginable. Now it's been 10, 20, 30. It doesn't even get people's attention the same way. We're almost accepting that we have this country of violence and mass murder where somebody would walk into a school and kill students. This was unimaginable. And what's even more unimaginable is that you could have that loss, that tragedy, and do nothing, and do nothing? Who are we if in the face of this loss, this tragedy, we do nothing? Have we lost our mind? Have we forgotten who we are? Have we abandoned all common sense, all decency, all capacity to act rationally and logically? Have the zealots taken over the country? What happened to common sense? 1934, this nation outlawed machine guns. Why? Because they were too dangerous. Because they could kill too many people too quickly. Because any common sense said the risks outweigh the reward. You shouldn't have people walking around with machine guns. It's called common sense. Rational people thinking rationally. rational people acting logically, Americans acting like Americans. What happened to American common sense? That now, in the face of this, we do nothing. People run for political cover. Why? Because they're afraid of the NRA. I'm afraid of the NRA. I don't give a damn about the NRA. It is a political agenda driven by the NRA, which is a commercial enterprise. And it sells two things, the NRA. One, it sells guns. It is supported by the manufacturer of guns. So they sell guns. That's why their answer to everything is more guns. What's the answer to school violence? Buy guns for the teachers and arm the teachers. What's the answer to street violence? The good people should go out and buy guns, and then they can shoot the bad people when there's a situation. The answer to everything is more guns, because they're in the business of selling guns. They're also in the business of selling fear. Why? Because that grows their membership. You better belong to the NRA because they're trying to take your gun away. This is big bad government that is going to come and take your gun. And if you're not part of the NRA, if we're not strong, government is going to come and they're going to take your gun so government can control you. And then you can't fight back against government if we don't have an armed citizenry. That's their argument. Citizens need guns. So when the despots in government come to take over, the armed citizenry can stand up and shoot back and defeat the government. So they sell this fear. Don't let them pass any law, because if they pass any law, then there's going to be a slippery slope. And if they pass any law, then they're going to pass more laws and more laws and more laws until they take your gun. That's the NRA. President of the United States, Mr. Tough Guy on the Twitter, Mr. Tough Tweeter. All of a sudden, Tough Tweeter cowers to the NRA. What happened, Macho Man, Mr. President Tough Tweeter? What's the answer to the NRA? What we did in New York. What we did in New York after Sandy Hook, Connecticut, 5 years ago. 5 years ago, 5 years before Parkland. We knew what was coming. They showed it to us at Sandy Hook, Connecticut. We watched it as neighbors, and we said, common sense, enough is enough. Enough is enough. And we passed the SAFE Act 5 years ago in this state, the best gun control law in the United States of America, that does everything we are still advocating to do today. Everything we're advocating to do today. Assault weapon ban, no more than 10 bullets in a gun, close all the loopholes so there's a background check on every purchase, mental health database. Mental health database that we set up 5 years ago now has 77,000 people on the mental health database. That means there were 77,000 mentally ill people who could have bought a gun in this state the day before the SAFE Act. And look at what the SAFE Act didn't do. There was no slippery slope. The world is still spinning 5 years later. Cars still drive. People still breathe. The flag still flies. Hunters have their guns. Legal owners have their guns. Mentally ill people can't buy guns. They were never supposed to be buying guns in the first place. Felons can't buy guns. They weren't supposed to be buying guns in the first place. And all the NRA fear tactics, none of it happened. None of it happened. You can have common sense gun reform and have a Second Amendment. No one's taking anyone's gun. We just want common sense to stop the senseless violence. And we can do it. And if we can do it in New York, we can do it in this nation. So, for Laura and Linda and Fred, they're not asking for the impossible when they go to Washington. They're saying, do what they did in New York. It's a big state. It's a real state. It's not a make-believe state. It was hard to do. I'm the #1 enemy of the NRA. They throw things at me when they see me. It's okay. I duck. I'm fast. But we passed it. And it worked. We don't have to guess. It worked. And if it can work in New York, it'll work nationwide. But the bigger issue is this. I'll end where I started. This election is not about politics. It's about the character of the country. It is about our values, our priorities. The Washington administration believes something different than this state. They will reshape this society. They will change priorities. They will take away rights. The president with the Supreme Court is frightening. They can roll back states' rights. We have the SAFE Act now. They can roll it back. We have marriage equality. They could roll it back. We have union rights. They could roll it back. They roll back a woman's right to choose. We don't have a state law protecting a woman's right to choose. They overturned Roe v. Wade. You're literally back in the 1950s and the 1960s. That's how dramatic this is. We have to do 3 things. Number 1, we have to elect a Democratic Senate in this state because we need this state to protect us. We need this state to protect us by passing laws that negate what they're doing in Washington. Washington tried to stop public unions. We passed a law basically negating Janus. We're going to have to do that over and over and over again. And that's why we need Jim and Lou and Monica to join John and Todd in the Senate. We need a Democratic Senate. We need a Democratic Congress because, and Anna, where's Anna? You're supposed to be sitting over here. And Anna Kaplan. We need a Democratic Congress because that's the only way you stop this madman in Washington is by having a Democratic Congress stop the laws. And we have to stop Kavanaugh from being nominated and approved for the Supreme Court. Kavanaugh is not a judge. He's a politician. anyone who starts because they were approved by the conservative party to be considered as a nominee, when you have that political litmus test, well, we gave the president a list of extreme conservative judges that we find acceptable. That means you're not a judge. It means you're a politician. That means you're coming with a preordained philosophy and an opinion of what you're going to do. And this is a politician who says, I'm against a woman's right to choose, who says, I'm against states doing gun laws. He says that coming to the job. So you're not going to get an open-minded judge who decides on the facts. You're going to get a politician who decides pursuant to their political agenda. And I'll tell you, with all the talk on the nomination hearings, I'll tell you where sometimes you have a moment that captures a person's soul and the essence of who a person is. And that happened with Kavanaugh. He was being asked questions and he wouldn't answer any, which you would expect from a politician. But he was getting up to leave at lunch, and there was a break. And he stood up and he was walking out, and Fred Guttenberg, father of Jamie, Parkland, Florida, walked up to Kavanaugh, put out his hand, and said, "How are you?" Fred Guttenberg had the bracelets, parent of Parkland, Florida. Kavanaugh would not shake his hand. Now, that snapshot, my friends, says it all. You don't shake his hand? Fred Guttenberg lost a daughter? You don't shake his hand? He has a legitimate, different opinion than you? You don't shake his hand? You closed-minded, inhumane, uncivil, arrogant. You don't shake his hand? You don't have the decency, the humanity to shake his hand? You can't tolerate someone with a different position and a different opinion? What kind of arrogant zealot are you? You want to be put on the highest court in this land, and you don't have the decency to shake a man's hand? God forbid they confirm this man for the Supreme Court of the United States. That's what we are talking about. And this election starts on Thursday. And I want you to help me on Thursday. This primary day, maybe a storm, maybe rain, maybe hard to come out to vote. The president says, I'm fighting with Governor Cuomo, but it's just Governor Cuomo that I'm fighting with. It's just Governor Cuomo. Everybody else agrees with me. I want you to come out Thursday and vote for me. And I want, when you fill in that little hole there in that new ballot, I want you to be saying, no, President Trump. It's not just Andrew who disagrees with you. Every decent New Yorker disagrees with you. Every decent American disagrees with you. And make that statement Thursday. We're going to elect a Democratic Senate, a Democratic Congress, and we're going to take our country back. Thank you, and God bless you.